It's finally summer! It's about time! I hope y'all are enjoying this sun that we're finally getting, at least on my side of the world, in my little corner of the Seattle area. So anyway, let's jump right in today. Today we're going to be talking about good intentions. So to me, good intentions are when you have this idea in your head of something that you think is going to be the right thing in a certain situation. Like, for example, you hear from your boss that you need to do this or that, and you decide to do something based on that instruction. And even if you may not have been instructed to do that certain thing, since it seems like the right thing to do, you do it. Your good intention in that situation would be to do the thing that you think your boss would be happy with, right? If that's the case, then good intentions stem from somewhere that in your mind or in your heart or whatever, you think it's the right thing to do. However, the idea of having good intentions in a situation can be flawed in various ways. The right thing is kind of relative. It depends on what you're trying to do. Your right thing might not be someone else's right thing. That's the number one problem I see, is that you may make a decision based on thinking that you're doing the right thing or wanting to do the right thing, but it wasn't the right thing for who you were trying to perform the act for. Right? So if you have a friend who is in need in some way, and you have good intentions to help them in a certain way, but find out later that they got angry at the fact that you intervened in some sort of way because it wasn't the right thing in their eyes. Another problem with trying to do the right thing through good intentions is that a lot of the time, at least in my case, I end up doing things based on the idea that I'm pleasing someone else, or that I'm doing the morally right thing. The only problem is that sometimes I will look back on the decisions I make based on that idea and realize that I didn't even agree with what I was doing. I just did it to save face or to look desirable to, again, whoever I'm around. And the reason I think that's flawed thinking is that you're then doing things just because you think other people want you to do them, not because you actually believe that they're the right thing to do. So how many times do you get into a situation where you do the right thing, but since you have so much backlash from the people who didn't think it was the right thing, that you don't want to do the right thing the next time? So you end up having to sacrifice your own morale and stoop to someone else's. Not necessarily stoop, but you're doing something because someone else thinks it's the right thing, not because you think it's the right thing. Another thing with good intentions, and this is something that my mom mentioned to me, is that if you have good intentions and you think of them and you think of the thing that you want to do that would be good, but then you don't act on it, then you haven't accomplished anything. So you might have good intentions to, take out the garbage for your friend, or if you have good intentions to go over to someone's house who's sick and to make them feel better, or to buy them medicine, or just help out someone, but you don't actually go through with it, all you've done is thought about something that's good but then not actually done it. There's not really any point in that, is there? Something that falls under the category of doing good intentions is getting things done, okay? So if there's something that you see needs to get done, then you do it, right? Well, a lot of times, the things that I see need to get done, a lot of times belong to someone else. So if I'm at home at my parents' house and I see that something needs to get done, I will oftentimes do it, but then afterwards feel resentful at the person who was supposed to do it but didn't. Which is ridiculous, because no one made me do the task that I did. It was me deciding to do something because I saw that it needed to get done. So to feel resentful towards someone who, even though they should have done the task, didn't, and I did it for them, is kind of ridiculous. Because no one forced me to do the task. The choice was mine in the end. So it has nothing to do with the other person. It was just me doing something that I figured was good in that situation. So why do I feel resentful? The final thing that I want to mention is something like group projects. So oftentimes in my family, we end up being the leaders in group project type situations. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just a personality type thing. We all end up kind of being the same. I am not an exception to that. So when I'm doing school projects with people, like class projects or group projects, I often end up being the leader Even though it's not like I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be the leader, woo. It's never like that. It's always the situation where I see someone else in my group or everyone in my group not wanting to step up and kind of, you know, be the person who texts people about when we're gonna meet up to work on the project, turn in the papers to the professor when we were supposed to, or to be the person who creates the PowerPoint presentation. These are all really simple things, but the problem is that I end up being this person who pulls the weight, which is kind of, again, ridiculous because it's me putting myself into that situation. All I technically have to do is not do it. And then I would start to get a little bit frustrated with my teammates because, you know, they're not doing anything until I tell them to do it. Even though it's not my job to do it, I feel personally responsible because no one else is doing it, which again is ridiculous, but I suppose that's just my personality type. But man, I should really try doing a project sometime where I don't step up to be the leader and see what happens. But I guess I kind of care about the grade too much. Do any of you have this problem? I don't know. Good intentions, man. They're good to have, obviously, because if you follow through with them, then you're doing a lot of good in the world. That's awesome. So what about you? Do you have this same problem of kind of second guessing your acts if you do something through good intentions, or do you just kind of do things that you think are right and not really look back? I'm kind of curious because even though I try really hard to do the right thing, feeling kind of crappy about your decisions after you've done them based on the idea that you only did it to please someone else is kind of a disappointing reality. So I am curious, what do you all think? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next week. Bye!